It's live. Hey guys. So Deborah here with Pinching Pesos, and I thought I would answer what the fact has been going on in my world like the last year or so. So much has been going on, and I feel like you guys deserve some answers to your questions and kind of what's going on, and just hang out for a little bit because I miss you guys, and I think it's time I come back if you want me back. So if you have any questions, put them over in the chat. I'm not going to answer them in the chat because I'm on my laptop in the living room, and it'll sound like this the entire time. But anyway, I'm super nervous, and I hope you guys show up because I don't have any questions to answer if you don't ask them. And excuse my dogs if you happen to hear them, because I can't control everything, and they're doing remodeling across the street. So there's like doors opening, and the dogs are like going to save my life and protect me from the remodelers across the street. But right now they're sleeping on the couch. But hi, Thelma, I missed you. And hey, Mike, I was going to call you earlier. And then I was like, oh, let me message him. And then I didn't do either one of those things. So just know I was thinking about you, however. So I'm just going to let people roll in a little bit just because it's been a while, and I'm hoping that people still have notifications. And my charger just fell out of my laptop. And bear with me because I'm super nervous. I feel like it's like hey, Tracy. I feel like it's like the very first time I ever did YouTube. I actually get nervous every time I do a live, even though I've been doing them for like 5 or 6 years or so. And fun fact, I always put on perfume. You guys can't smell it, but I always put on perfume before I get on YouTube. Okay, so Leslie was asking how I am feeling. So if you didn't know, I caught COVID end of July last year. I had a really bad case of it. And I will go into probably more details about that because I know you guys have a lot of questions about that experience. But I'm feeling better. It's been a rocky road, that's for sure. And I have a lot of like long haul symptoms. I didn't just like recover, I guess, if that makes any sense. Let's see. The crazy card said they will protect you right after their nap. No, they'll hear it or somewhere in the world. Somebody's saying Barry was here. Barry. Where's Barry? I bet you he's Zen Incense Shop. That sounds like a name that Barry would have. Hey, Thrift Daddy and Joni. I'm sorry. I actually don't like it whenever YouTubers like say hello to everyone in the chat. I think it's really annoying, but you guys, I love you all, and I haven't said hi to anybody in a long time. Okay, so I wanted to get started, just kind of like summing up kind of where I went, like what happened to me, why the stew was so sporadic in like 2019. And then we did our most recent live show was like over a year ago, I think, and it was in January of 2020. But I did talk to the girls yesterday about if they were still up for doing the stew, if I could, get my life together enough to do it. And they said they were down. they were down for the stew. So that should be coming back sometime really soon. But 2019, if you follow the Pinching Pesos Facebook page, I had a lot of anxiety and depression and stuff that was going on. When we moved in 2017, we relocated from Austin to Lockhart, which is only like 30 minutes from Austin. I actually really love it here. But I don't do well with big change, and it disrupted like my entire reselling life. Oh, Zenson Shop said no, he's not Barry. So where's Barry? Who's Barry? Anyway, I'm distracted. It disrupted my whole reseller life. Like I lost my office, my storage, my system, just kind of how everything was going in Austin. And I'd never really recovered. So I was still shopping and I was still selling, but I wasn't even remotely selling the quantity of items that I was previously. I guess you would say I was no longer even close to full-time reselling. I was like, I don't know what I was doing. I was just buying stuff and every now and then selling it. Hey, Yvonne and Vanessa. So I spent 2018, 2019 just really constantly trying to get back what was going on. And, you know, sometimes you're not going to get things back to the way that they were. You just have to start something else. And that doesn't mean that you have to like not do what you were doing, like completely change your whole genre of life. But the systems and the way things were and the life that I had in, oh, Zenson Shop is Chris. He said body oil boy. Sorry. Anyway, like you're just not gonna have, you're not gonna replace those things. They're not gonna be the same. And I think instead of I'm sorry, this is like my COVID brain. I'll go over that later. I started having like communication problems where my brain and my mouth don't talk to each other. I lose my train of thought a lot. It's like almost short-term memory loss kind of thing. But I can't even remember what I was talking about. What was I talking about? I don't know. Anyway, so I think instead of trying to relocate what I was doing to my new house, I should have just completely redid everything. I should have left behind all of my existing inventory, just threw it in the trash, started over. Like if it wasn't listed, I should have just gotten rid of it, but I didn't, and that was a huge mistake. But I can't fix that now. Now, 2020, and why I kind of disappeared was, and I'll put a timestamp in the description of this video so that way you can skip all of my rambling for the past 10 minutes, just go straight to like this. So 2020, before quarantine, before everything, January 15th, 2020, hush, my husband and I separated. We've been together now almost 15 years. And so we had a huge family disturbance, and we completely separated. And, you know, me saying like I don't deal well with big change, well, I didn't deal well with that big change either. And I essentially spiraled into like severe alcoholism and no structure to my life. And I got very like spendy, where I was just buying things, spending a lot of money, like I wasn't budgeting at all. And essentially just kind of like life just had no structure for me whatsoever. And I was really lucky because at the beginning of March, I had this, even though I wasn't reselling per se, like eBay, I had this huge like sales week for Amazon. And I like, if you look at my W-2 or my 1099, sorry, my 1099 for Amazon for 2020, it's like $100, $300, $25,000, and then like nothing, and then nothing, and then like $500. And so I actually spent COVID, like quarantine time, like when everybody was kind of locked down, really lucky in a way, because I don't think I could have handled financial stress on top of like my family life stress. Like it just wouldn't have happened. So I'm kind of lucky that I didn't have to deal with all of those emotional things, and then also like financial stress, and then also the mental strain of just life in the world being so different for everyone. Then like July came, and I ended up my husband had came, he was helping my father, and he didn't want to drive home. Well, not home. He was staying in an apartment that was an Airbnb that my friend owned, but Airbnb wasn't functioning, so they just have this apartment. And so he was essentially renting that apartment. So he didn't want to, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and he didn't want to drive back. And so he asked me if he could stay here. And it was the one night in like that 6 months that we were separated, or I guess it was 7 months. He gave me COVID. So that was like July 11th, and by July 18th night, I didn't feel bad, but I just felt tired. And then like the 19th, my 18-year-old decided she wanted to get tested because she was super nervous, because Mavo had, that's my husband, had gotten sick that week prior. And so the week following him staying here, he had gotten sick. I told him to go to the hospital. He got tested, and then he got his results back on the 17th. He had COVID. So she was really nervous about it, and she wanted to get tested. So we went on the 19th to get tested. I only got tested because she wanted to. I didn't have any symptoms. And that Tuesday, I think Tuesday the 21st, the test results came back, said she didn't have it, but I had it. And by that time, I just had like a sore throat. And then it was like the Wednesday, I had this like really congested chest. And I was just like laying in the bed. I thought everything was fine. I was monitoring my oxygen levels. If you don't know, if you have a Samsung phone, They have Samsung Health app, and it will, under Samsung Health, it's called, the test is called stress. So it does your heart rate, and it also does your oxygen level. And that's how I was testing my oxygen level. Like, you essentially hold your finger over the flash. It's like red, like it turns red, and it does your oxygen. And Apple also has that feature. That's the only reason why I even knew I needed to go to the hospital, because I was monitoring my oxygen levels. I was laying in the bed. I don't like to go to the hospital or to the doctor. I was just staying in there to not be around my kids, and my oxygen was going from like Wednesday, it was like 92, and then it was down to like 88, and then Thursday it was down to like staying like 85, and then Friday I called like a teledoc kind of thing, and because I don't have health insurance, and it was only like $75, and I told him, I was positive for COVID, and my oxygen level was down in the mid to upper 80s, and so he gave me a prescription. You aren't asking any questions. I feel like I'm rambling, or being highly uninteresting. But anyway, he gave me a prescription for like albuterol, I think, and something else. I didn't go pick it up. I don't know if that was Friday or actually Saturday morning. My dates are really off. And then my oxygen level got down to like 78. And then at one point it registered at like 72. But that was like after I had like gotten up and like walked to the bathroom and came back. So it was at like 72. And I didn't know how oxygen levels work. I just thought it's fine. I'm in bed. I'm okay. And but it kind of just stayed in the mid 70s. And I called the hospital. They had a COVID line. Because like I said, I don't have insurance, and so I wasn't just gonna like volunteer myself for like a $5,000 emergency room visit for no reason. And the COVID line was ran by, I guess, answered by nurses. And so, which I wish they had that feature all the time for everything, because I think a lot of people wouldn't go to the hospital for no reason. But I told her what was going on and how my oxygen levels had gone down. And I was like, I don't know, like if I should, I don't know if I should go in or what. And, I'm just here. And she's like, you need to go to the ER immediately. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then I just kind of like meandered around the house, like around my room, not around the house because I was staying away from my kids. And then I packed up like a bag. So I had like my laptop and my iPad that I had just got and didn't even know how to use yet. And I still don't really know how to use it. I thought, well, I don't know why I thought I needed an iPad. Let's go back to me saying I was just spending cash, like making it rain. Yeah, so I have an iPad that I don't even have any Apple products. So what do I need an iPad for? I just use it to write. So it's like a really expensive notebook like to write things down. Michelle says an oxygen monitor is cheap insurance right now. And yes, that was one thing that I had told my husband when he was saying he wasn't feeling well, before his COVID test even came back, like before his results came back. Because he had went, I think, on a Monday, and his test results didn't come back until Friday. And I had told him, I said, hey, you need to monitor your oxygen. Here's how to use it on your phone. Monitor your oxygen like every hour. I want you to check your oxygen. I don't care how you're feeling, like check it every hour, because I knew that that was going to be, I don't remember what I read, where I got that information from. I'm so glad wherever it came from because it saved my life. But told him to, monitor his oxygen, because that was the first sign that he was going to have that something was really wrong and he wasn't just like sick and not feeling well. But he never did have any problems with like he felt bad. I'd call him and it literally sounded like I was waking him from the dead. But he didn't want to move or do anything. He just did a lot of sleeping. And I don't know, if people follow me or not, but he owns a remodeling company. And so he had to cancel like his jobs for that time period. And it took him a good like 10 days to start feeling better. I think by the time I was feeling bad, he was recovering. And so anyway, I got off track talking about the oxygen monitoring, but that's the most important thing, the most important message. I wish I could shout it from the mountaintops about checking your oxygen level. It doesn't matter how you're feeling. It doesn't matter if you think you're okay or it's just bad flu or whatever. I'm in the Survivor Corps Facebook group. I have been for months, like since August. And that's kind of the number one thing that people took a turn, and it was their oxygen level that, was the sign. Anyway, so I called the little line. The lady said, go to the emergency room. Left my iPad, my laptop, just in case, I was going to have to stay. When I go to the emergency room, I typically do that. Like I typically bring like stuff with me, because when I go to the emergency room, I normally go because I think I have a blood clot, because I have a blood clotting condition called factor V. It's a genetic condition that's actually pretty common, but it's a dormant type of thing, and it gets triggered at some point, and sometimes it doesn't at all. Well, most of the time it doesn't. But I have to take a blood thinner for the rest of my life. And so typically if I go to the ER, it's because of that. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to stay. But that's another topic that I actually want to bring up to like the University of Texas, because they were monitoring me when I was in the hospital, like their study people. And my blood clotting levels are really wonky right now. And I know that COVID, affects your blood clotting. That's the way a lot of people were dying, by getting blood clots and pulmonary embolisms and having heart attacks, strokes, and things like that. But I've had the same dosage of my medicine for 20 years. And now that's not the right dose anymore. So I wonder if they're not doing a study about that, like how COVID is affecting people like me with blood clotting disorders. They should be, because like taking, having the same dose of Coumadin, which Coumadin is like affected by everything. Like if you eat too much salad, like you might have to adjust your dose. Or if you have some drinks at dinner, or if you become a raging alcoholic for 6 months because your life is falling apart. But that's another thing entirely. They're like, everything affects like your Coumadin level. And mine was pretty steady, like 10 milligrams for 20 years. And then now it's like they can't get my level to be like, they can't get my dosage right. It's really weird. So anyway, they should do if they're not doing a study, they need to do a study. I'm going to call UT. I have their email from when they were monitoring me when they wanted to monitor my antibodies when I was in the hospital because I was like the youngest person that had come in because I was 39 at the time. Now I'm like super old. I'm 40. But I was like the youngest person at the time that came in and took a turn like so quickly and was just like in 24 hours on a ventilator. So I went to the ER and I couldn't breathe so great. And Austin area, there was only 2 hospitals that were doing COVID patients. And so they transported me into via ambulance, went on the woo-woo machine to Austin, to Dell, like Michael Dell, like Computer Dell Seton Medical Center. And I got there and I was talking to my friends. If you go to my Instagram, you can hear how I couldn't breathe. I haven't gone back to watch those. Sorry, I haven't gone back to watch those videos. I can't. So there's a lot of like trauma, I guess, from that experience that I have, like, and I don't know, just it affected me in a way that I've been in experiences where I was gonna die. Like, I've had pulmonary embolisms before that, like my very first one after I had my daughter, like literally, like if I wouldn't have gone to the hospital, I was like moments away from death. Like I would have just suffocated in my sleep. And I've had really serious, I've had 2 pulmonary embolism experiences and really serious blood clots, like DVTs. One that wouldn't go away and they were going to surgically remove out of my thigh. And, but this experience changed me a lot. And so we'll talk about that if you want to talk about that. But let's get back to the hospital experience because I know a lot of people wanted to know about that. So I get there to Del Seton and they can't get my levels stable for my oxygen. Eventually they got me like up to the max that was available to pump into you, and still wasn't reaching a satisfactory level. I don't remember the following day. I only remember up to the nighttime, so like after midnight to like 3 o'clock, 4 in the morning, when they kept getting mad at me because I kept getting up to go to the bathroom. Like there was like a porter, like a little like bedside commode thing, and they were like really pissed that I would get up to go to the bathroom. But I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And I only remember like that time period. I remember at some point in time because nobody would come in. Nobody came in to the room at all. They talked to me through the window, like through the blinds, and they would call me on the phone. But like nobody came in. I remember the lady calling me, asking me if it was okay if the University of Texas had my information so that they could monitor me. And I said that was fine. And I remember the lady and man who the lady called me because I needed a power of attorney, which kind of like I didn't realize at the time was a big deal. So I didn't even get to sign my own power of attorney. There was a witness there that witnessed that I said it was okay. And then she signed it and he signed it. And this is another thing that I'm going to say. When they ask you, like, hey, do you want somebody, like, if something happens to you and you're not able to answer for yourself, is there somebody that you want to assign as your power of attorney? Make sure that your medical contacts are everyone that you want to know information on you, because I didn't realize me signing my dad as my power of attorney. I mean, this is a very casual thing that I did. I was like, they're like, do you want, do you have anybody that, could be in charge of you if something happens? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Well, I guess you could like put my dad down, like very casually. I didn't realize that like nobody else was going to be able to call and like get information on me. And my dad was like the only person, and my dad is like my hero. He's amazing, but he is not the guy to be in charge of calling and updating people about your status. Because he has anxiety issues like I do, and I hate making phone calls. Like, I don't like asking people questions, and I hate making phone calls. So my mother couldn't call and see how I was. My children couldn't call and see how I was. My husband, nobody but my dad. And I still haven't asked Yvonne or Tanya how they were getting any information from the hospital, because my kids weren't even getting information from the hospital. My uncle was, because he basically, told, I don't know what he said, but he put his foot down and was like, look, I know her dad's the contact, but he's not giving us the information. I have questions. We have questions. We need to know the answers. And so he would call them every day. And he was the one that was updating like my cousins and my dad and stuff, but like not like my mom and those people weren't getting the information. So make sure if something's going on with you and you go into the hospital, update your medical contact authorization information, so that they can release information on you to the people that love you. Because I don't think there's anything more frustrating than to not know. You can't, like my mom was losing her mind because she couldn't do anything. She couldn't see me. She couldn't come into the hospital. You could not enter the hospital. And she couldn't call and get any information. So she didn't know anything other than everything's still the same. That's all they would tell her. Or like my daughters when they would call. So once again, make sure to fill that out on who's authorized. Because I thought even like my husband would be, nope, not even my husband. He couldn't get any information. So anyway, so I filled out the power of attorney. And then I don't know what happened after that. I've gone back and looked at some of my text messages just because I was trying to kind of timeline things a little bit. And I have where I had sent messages to my friends saying, and my family, I'm going to be intubated, but I don't remember sending any of those at all. Like I don't remember that day. It's really sad because one of my best friends, her last text message to me was, "Hey, what's your Hulu password?" And she told me recently, she's like, I was crying my eyes out because I'm like, oh my God, Deb's gonna die. And my last message to her was, hey, what's your Hulu password? And I have a voicemail that she left me that's like, where my voicemail had like cut her off because her message was like 3 minutes long. And then she called back and left like a whole nother 3 minutes. And she's just like crying and like, and now I know why she felt so bad. But yeah. Anyway, but so yeah, that last like that afternoon, like I don't know. So apparently by that 6 o'clock, I was unconscious because I did not get back to her with that Hulu password. But okay, so after, I had people ask me when I got home, Connie says famous last words. Yeah, it's gonna be on my tombstone. Like, hey, what's your Hulu password? Hey, Tanya. Tanya's taking pictures, which means she's working. And I'm going to get back to work too, Tanya. I have not given up on reselling, you guys. I miss it. It's in my blood. I've got big plans. And so I'm going to be getting with Tanya here really soon, trying to do some accountability challenges, motivation type stuffy stuff. But anyway, people asked me when I got home, like, could you hear things when you were, like when you were under? Could you, like, what was happening, when you were in a coma? And all I know is that I know I must have been conscious of some things. And I think that this was during the time that I was, I think this is the time because what they do is they try to unsedate you. So they let you like come to a little bit, just to see like how you're doing. And I think I can relate back some of the delusion. It's actually on my paper that they sent me home with, that like, COVID-19 and then like tricky whatever, when your heart rate's too fast, and like factor 5, and then like delirium. So yeah. Some of the crazy things that they weren't dreams. They were happening. So I know I must have been slightly conscious of my environment because I can pinpoint things now that I'm like, okay, that thing was actually this thing. And that person that I was actually like this person. But I had very vivid delusions. And I can't say that they were dreams because they're memories in my head. Like they're memories, like, your memories of your experiences, like things that you were part of, like your real life. My dreams they're in my memory bank as actual life events. So okay, so I'll tell you the story. Hang on, I'm falling down in my couch. Ugh. That was really appealing, right? Okay, there. That better? Yeah, much more comfortable. Okay, so here's the things. My dreams. I was on 2020 Island. It was a tower, and I kept trying to escape off of 2020 Island, and I was basically being kidnapped constantly. I know why I was having these like dreams or visions, because I was restrained, because they don't want you like waking up and pulling out your tubes. So I was restrained, and so I couldn't move. So I kept having experiences where I was being like kidnapped, and I couldn't move, or I was paralyzed. And so one of the first things I remember is I was in this hospital environment that was actually underground on the corner of 6th and Congress in Austin. And it was owned and ran. Can someone tell me when I got sick? I was hospitalized on the 28th, I believe. Yvonne and Tanya probably know the dates like way better than I do. because they were way on this when I wasn't. But anyway, like this hospital, this medical place was owned and ran by McDonald's and Starbucks. And it was like each level, it was like on this little spirally thing. And each level you got more and more fixed. And I was on my phone in the hospital bed, going up the little spiral levels. And I had my phone, and I was trying to tell my daughter, my 18-year-old, that I'm okay. I'm getting fixed. Would you believe I'm getting repaired by Starbucks? Like I could hear people ordering their drinks in the drive-thru, and like they're like fries and stuff. So, and so I was trying to tell her like, hey, like this is where I am. Look around, and like somebody spotted me with my phone, and my phone got like thrown somewhere. And so I got out of the bed to like go to try to find it, and I ended up like getting stuck in an elevator with the people that were going on tour of the McDonald's Starbucks hospital. But then after that, this is the good part. There were bad ones too. I got into like a two-door, like, I don't know, Ferrari or Lotus, some kind of really expensive like two-door car. And and I would, like, my daughter was driving and she can't drive, but she was driving like real fast. And I keep saying my daughter, I have 3 daughters. So like my middle daughter, uh, and we were like going to go live in this apartment complex that, because I was part of a medical study. Because I had gotten, I was part of like the secret underground McDonald's Starbucks medical complex, like facility thingy. Um, but then after that, I ended up like, things like turned really dark. Like in the beginning, everything was very light and it was like interesting, and I had all these really fun experiences of like driving around and going to like this Good Morning America weird Food Network cooking place. It had all these different, like, it was shows, but you could actually like see them. And like there was all these like different restaurants. And so I'm wondering if there was like people in my room when I was unconscious that were like watching TV, because I was like, in these different shows, quote unquote, um experiencing those. So I'm pretty sure there was probably like somebody in my room like watching TV. But after that, like everything kind of went really dark. And so I'm thinking that maybe the beginning where everything was kind of light and fun and I was experiencing these weird, like things like the apartment and I ended up in like some other virtual reality thing ran by like, I don't know, Under Armour or Reebok or something like that. Like it was all this really cool stuff. It turned from that to like people were trying to kill me. So I think that those, like the darker memories were like when they were actually trying to wake me up to see how I was doing, and I was more delusional because I was like, I remember that I was in a hospital and I was trying to ask the nurse like where my daughter was, because I was determined that my daughters were, like my younger daughters, the ones that live at home, were in the hospital and they were downstairs, and I kept trying to ask them like, where's my daughter? Like, I was really concerned about like where my youngest daughter was. And they couldn't understand me. And I remember getting like so angry that I was like hitting the sides of the bed. So I think this probably actually happened. Like I was hitting the sides of the bed, trying to get their attention, because it was like they couldn't understand me. They weren't listening to me. And I was freaking out because I thought my daughter was like missing. And I just kept asking them like, where's my daughter? And they couldn't understand me. And I remember somebody telling me after like I was hitting the sides of the bed, that's not going to help anything. Like, you need to stop. It's not going to help anything. So I don't know if that really happened or not. But it made sense that it did, because it's one of the few like memories that I have of like actual medical people and being in like a bed and like medical hospital bed environment. The rest of the time, like when I woke up, I had no interest in calling my husband. And it wasn't because at the time that I went in, we were separated. It was because while I was out, he had gotten, this didn't happen, but he had gotten a new girlfriend with a big butt. I specifically remember, like, he had a big booty Latin girl, and she owned a Marisco's place. If you don't know what Marisco's are, it's like like Mexican seafood place. And she had a like fishing boat, and so he just like left me for her, and she kidnapped me and basically tied me, like kind of hog tied me in like an empty like retail location, like what would have been like an old convenience store or whatever, like a small retail location. And like I was kidnapped there, and I kept trying to tell her, like, hey, if you want my life, like, you can just have it. Like, I don't want him. If he's gonna leave me for somebody else, like, I don't care. You don't have to kill me. You could just take my life. Like, I'd like just not like kill me, take my life, but like you can have my life. Like, I don't even want it anymore. And so I was like really scared, like kidnapped, tied down. And then I ended up getting let go, and I end up inheriting a fishing boat. And so I'm now owning a fishing restaurant too. And I'm in like competition with this lady. I ended up going to like Venezuela or Honduras or something in my boat. And then she gets mad at me because I'm like in her space or whatever, and ends up like kidnapping me again on my boat. And at this time, my dad is there, and my dad, basically the lady had somebody that was dressed like a nurse. And so me and my dad are on the boat, and this nurse is there, and she's going to give me an injection. And I keep trying to tell my dad, do not let her give me that injection. She's trying to kill me. These are the people that kidnapped me. Don't let her give me this injection. But he can't understand me and basically says, like, oh, it's okay. Like, let her, she's trying to help you. She's whatever. And I remember like just trying to plead with him, but he couldn't understand me, like, because I couldn't talk, like, to not let her kill me. It was really bad. And then another thing that happened was I thought I killed my sister and brother with a boat on like a boat ramp on 2020 Island. And so when I woke up from my sedation, the first thing I wanted to do was talk to my mom, and I wanted my phone, but I couldn't get my phone to work. Like, my hands wouldn't function. But I was trying to Google my siblings so I could figure out what happened to them, because I thought I killed them. And so when I woke up, the first thing I wanted to do was to find out what happened to my sister and brother. And another thing, another one of my delusions was that I had somehow murdered all of the unborn children of the nurses at the hospital. And so when I woke up, the very first thing I did before I was trying to figure out about my sister and brother, I was crying my eyes out. because I had like basically like I was a terrible person. And one of the nurses that was there, like I wasn't sure if that really happened or not, but one of the nurses that was there at the time told me that week that, yeah, I was crying, like completely unconsolable. And I kept saying that everyone hated me. That like everyone hated me and they all thought that I was stupid and that I was such a terrible person. Because, and this is why I say that these things weren't dreams, like they were real things that happened to me, like in my brain. Because when I did finally get my phone and call my mom, like the very first thing I was doing was just crying and asking her like what happened to my sister and what happened to my brother. And she was like, they're fine, like they're okay. And so anyway, that is why I haven't been like, I don't talk, I haven't like brought myself to talk about like that experience with COVID, just because I didn't think you guys wanted to hear about it. Because it's kind of, I'm sure the past 56 minutes have been like hella boring. But I needed to like tell you guys because the outpouring of support that I received and my family received while I was in the hospital and after I got out was just amazing. And I can't thank you guys, like kind of what I consider like my YouTube family, which also like include like real life friends that I have now that I've gotten from like YouTube over the years, like they're real friends. And I didn't want to do one of these because I knew that I was emotionally going to be able to handle it. And so I put it off, but everyone, I guess, deserved to know like what was going on because you guys like really came through for me in a way that I didn't realize like I even deserved as a person. Like I didn't know, like you think um like, oh, these are my friends, or oh yeah, I talked to this person, or they like my posts or whatever, but you don't really think, and I never really thought that the things that I did on YouTube or the information that I was giving about reselling, and sorry, I'm like really crying. I didn't think that those things like were that big of a deal. But all the messages and all the messages and financial contributions and gifts that you guys sent to the house. But those messages, like, I had no idea kind of my place and importance in people's lives that I didn't even know existed on this planet until they like messaged me. I didn't know how much I mattered. And so when I say that like COVID changed my life in a way that no other thing or bad experience or life like risking experience has ever done, it's true. It made me more mindful of people and my words and what's important, because I know people very close to me who have been suicidal and don't know, can't see like their value in this world. And I can honestly say that prior to my COVID, I also didn't see my value in this world. So I can understand like how you can be so loved and feel so lonely, because I didn't know myself. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm a big deal, but gosh, like the messages that I got about how people felt about me, and even just like me doing stupid, like what I call like my stupid videos, how those things had changed some people's lives. And I know I want to say that I want everybody to like experience this traumatic shit that I went through, but it's almost like I was there for my own eulogy in a way. And that's really life-changing. So what I've learned, well, before I get into that, thank you everyone so much for helping us, helping me, helping my family, but like with the GoFundMe that Yvonne and Tanya and Lucy, everybody did. But also thank you for telling me how you felt, even just small stuff, because it's completely changed my life. And I'll tell you how. And I wish everybody could kind of have that, have what I've received, because it's been a true gift. What all this taught me was, first, aside from like that I have value, that I didn't, far beyond any number that I could think of. But that I needed to be mindful of things that I say and opinions that I give, and because I guess apparently it matters, you know? And so I've been learning to be a nicer, kinder, caring, more empathetic, all around just better person to people I come in contact with, because it taught me that you just never know. Like, you just never know what what something small can really mean to people that aren't like on your radar, and even people that are, but you just don't know what your impact is, or things that you say, or things that you do, or how you treat someone, or it's definitely made me way more forgiving, way way more forgiving on just kind of everything, on how I view people. And next, the COVID physically like neurologically forced me to slow down. So while I'm normally a really fast talker, really quick, one of my not most appealing qualities previously was that I spoke before I even gave myself a chance to think about what I was saying. And I have been forced, because of the way my brain works now, to very much think about what I'm going to say, because I have no other choice. Because my brain and my mouth don't like to talk to each other sometimes. And so I'm actually, while it kind of sucks because I lose my train of thought a lot and I pause a lot, I need a pause. I need a pause. I need to think. I need to make sure that I know what I'm saying and doing before I do it, because I used to be quite quick-tempered and real fast to like do something that probably wasn't the right thing to do or the right thing to say. And yeah, so I think those are the main things that I've been taught. And also just to things that we think that are important, little tiny, I know it's so cliche to be like, don't sweat the small stuff, but really, it doesn't really matter. And I think my husband's probably tired of hearing that from me, because I'll go, so you just needed another thing to bitch about, huh? Because that doesn't really matter. I get a lot less pissy about stuff than I used to. I used to be a really critical person. I know that's not something that I put out on my videos, and I'm not saying that that's a trait of mine that I hid. It just wasn't who I was, in my YouTube world. I never tried to be, never was like a confrontational, conflict, drama queen kind of let me go live and really dig into somebody, kind of thing. But behind the scenes, I could be very critical. And that's unnecessary. It's not useful, and it's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time, and it's not nice. I'm not saying like I was mean, but this is not nice. It's unnecessary. There's no reason to criticize. You don't know why somebody is being a certain way. And I have learned that just because I think something And it might be right, doesn't mean that I need to let people know that. Because what's it hurt that they do things their own way? And on the topic of my husband, that I said that I say, you just bitching about something that's not important anymore. He really came through after the whole COVID thing. When I came home, I'm sorry, I do see the comments. I'm just trying not to be sidetracked, but bye, Greg. He really came through, and he took care of the girls while I was in the hospital, made them breakfast and dinner, and he was scared. My oldest daughter, Corinne, she's 22. She told me that he had called her. He calls her with his little accent, Korean. Her name's Corinne, but he calls her Korean, and he's like, Korean, I'm so scared. And he learned how much I actually did. And whenever he'd be like, well, what do? You don't actually really do anything. Like, you just here all day. Like, what are you doing? He learned what I do, because I wasn't here to do it. And so he gained a whole new appreciation for, I guess he also learned my worth at that particular time. So while I learned mine, he learned mine on his own level. But he came through like a champ. He took care of me. I was supposed to go to rehab after I got out of the hospital, but I just wanted to go home. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. I was in a coma for 2. The week after I, woke up was really difficult. I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand up on my own. I had lost a lot of my leg muscle. I don't know how in 2 weeks you can lose your ability to stand. And like, my legs were so skinny. Like have you looked at me? My legs ain't skinny. My legs were so small. How do you lose that much muscle like in 2 weeks? But I couldn't stand. I couldn't talk very well. My tongue was swollen, huge, and it was like ridged, I guess from the tube, like it resting on my tongue, so it like rippled. My tongue had ridges, and it was super swollen. I sounded like I was very drunk, and like, I don't know. But it was really difficult for me after I woke up, because I've always been, I think we feel like if we really have to, we can do it. Like, we can will ourselves. Like, I think regardless of our physical activity level, like if you haven't ran since kindergarten, I think we all feel like if we really had to run from the zombies, if there was a dog chasing me, if there was this, like, that we could just have these superhero powers, and regardless of our actual physical strength, we could just will ourselves, into, safety. I was super frustrated because my arm, this is my left arm. I burnt myself trying to be beautiful. I was curling my hair and I burnt the heck out of my arm. What's your favorite Lady Gaga song? I don't have one. I had nerve damage I got nerve damage in my neck. I have 2 pinched something in the disc, something real official. Anyway, I ended up with nerve damage. I ended up with pinched whatever's. And so this arm is numb, like, sorry, camera, from here up to my thumb. This is actually getting better. But from here to here is numb. And under my arm, and used to be like across here, but that's getting better. So I know that it's getting better. I think the doctors thought that it was just going to get better faster. But when I woke up, I couldn't use this arm. I couldn't lift it up. So my left arm had like no strength at all. Will you take the vaccine? Yes, I will. Your antibodies don't last as long as they originally thought. I think now the word is it's like 3 to 9 months that your like immunity, kind of like your antibodies are there to help you. But no, I will be getting the vaccine just because. Why not? Okay, so my left arm didn't work. It was really frustrating. I couldn't brush my own hair. I couldn't stand. I couldn't walk. I told my girls, I said, you know, all of your insecurities that you have about yourself in your life, about your body, about like all your little insecurities that you have completely go away when you're just like a 300-pound baby, like naked in a bed with like people helping you, like giving you a wipe down. Like all your life insecurities go away, because what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? You're helpless, and you just get over it. They were like, no. It's like, yeah, you just get over it. So, and then also, so the thing is like, with all of that, it was really frustrating. And I remember one of the nurses, I was crying because I really wanted to stand up and like go to the bathroom, but I couldn't get up. And so I was so frustrated because I'm telling my legs to do what they're supposed to do, and they're not. And as somebody who's feels like they're normally in control of their life or in control of themselves, that's a really difficult place to be. It really brought me a whole new understanding for people who, you know, their bodies are not cooperating with them. I have a whole new understanding, a whole new level of compassion and empathy for that. And anyway, and 80% of my hair fell out. So I had to cut my hair. Like my hair is, I don't know. I cut like 12 inches off because it was just dead and broken and literally only like this wide anymore. It was nothing. So yeah. That's it. And when I got home, it really sucked because I couldn't do anything. Like, I couldn't get up off the couch. My husband had to lift me up, and I couldn't. Like, the first night I was home, we were trying something, and I accidentally ended up on the bedroom floor. And it took us, I think it was 2.5 hours to find a way for me to get on the bed. And what we did is we built a butt staircase out of mailing boxes. Like, you know how, the boxes that come from the post office? Like, I had boxes of boxes. And so he stacked those, like 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4, and literally like picked me up, like hoisted me up those like 6 inches at a time until I was able to get on the bed. It's like 2.5 hours to get from the floor to the bed. It was exhausting. But anyway, there's probably 100 other stories. I guess I don't want to bore you guys to death. But hey lady, sorry, Jessica just came in. Missed you. Trish was asking how my energy level is overall. Originally, my energy level was like, everything took so much effort. It was like I would do like the smallest thing. Like I remember putting on my own shirt one day and I was exhausted. And at one point, like, when I was in the hospital, I was trying to put on different pajamas. Like, I was determined I was going to put on different pajamas. And my mom had brought me, well, she had to drop them off at the door, but I had gotten these pajamas and I didn't want to I hate like the hospital nightgown. And clothes are overrated. Yeah. I spent a lot of time naked in the hospital. My inhibitions completely went out the window. It was just like, whatever, I'm here. But I was trying to put these pajamas on and gosh, it must have taken me 45 minutes to get the shirt on. No, I'm sorry, the pants. I got the pants on 45 minutes and I literally ran out of energy to be able to put the shirt on. So I just like laid it across my chest and I was like, we'll do that later. Like, I was like, I didn't have the energy to do that. Like, but yeah, everything took so much energy. Just like, and everything was so heavy. Like this water bottle, I couldn't lift it up. It was like the heaviest thing. And when I finally was able to drive, I would forget that my left arm was like my weak arm and I couldn't like get things from like the drive-throughs and I'd almost drop everything all the times and I'd have to remember like, no, you have to put your arm over and get it. But now things are getting better energy-wise. I still I get very out of breath. And hi Connie. I get very out of breath for basically no activity. But things are improving. I can walk through the grocery store now, like make a whole trip through the grocery store. Like I just recently started actually going grocery shopping. previously I was getting everything delivered. Then after that, I was having the girls, like I would just kind of stay at the front and they would go get stuff and put it in the cart. And then I got where I could kind of like get through produce and like they would bring the other stuff. And then now I can actually do almost a whole, I can't get to frozen foods. So like the grocery store is like produce, and then there's like deli, and there's meats, and then there's like bread and like all your canned goods, and then drinks. And then I have issues getting to like the milk, eggs, and frozen foods because that's the furthest from where I started. So the girls still normally get those things. I send them to get eggs and milk stuff. But it's getting better. And so does anybody have any questions? Because this was like a Q&A, but it was a lot more A than Q. I'll wait. I got time. I don't have any place I need to be for another 2 hours. I'll wait. No. But so I want to talk about my plans. Like it was really hard like after I got back home for the last 6 months, it's been 7 months now, I guess. Wow, I can't believe it's been that long. Are you coming back again for more videos? Yes. And guess what? That started today. We will be bringing back the stew. I will be doing more videos. I have some new things that I would like you guys to be able to follow along with. Lucy's asking what my 2021 plans are. And I have a goal. I really want to be part of, hold on. Okay, hold on, let me adjust myself. I fell 2 weeks ago. It was my husband's birthday on January 15th, and we got a hotel, and I fell. I twisted my ankle and I fell, dress up over my head, showed all my goodies to everybody, but regardless of that, I fell and basically pulled my, hi Nora, pulled my I think like my PCL. So the PCL is like the ligament like on the outside of your knee that connects stuff. It connects your like your thigh bone to, it connects your upper leg to your lower leg. And I pulled it real bad. And shut up, Brian. And couldn't walk. I needed crutches. Look, there's one right there. I needed crutch, like I couldn't walk. And just in the last couple of days, I've gotten where my leg like functions, but it still feels like my knee feels like how it when you hit your funny bone. That's the way my knee feels like all the time now. So let me adjust myself because I gave you that really long story because I needed to move my leg. So my plans for 2021 is I want to be part of my local community. So like I said, way like 90 minutes ago, we moved from Austin to Lockhart. It's a really kind of a smaller community. Everything is literally 2 miles from me. So I'm right in the middle, and then like I can go 2 miles that way and get to like any places I need to go that way, and then I can go like 2 miles that way and I can get to any places I need to go that way, and all the things. Everything's like when it 2 miles. So it's kind of a small community, and I want to be part of it. I really love it here, and I really want to be part of the like business owner community here. And as much as last year prior to the COVID, I had told my husband that I was going to quit reselling and I was going to full-time help him with his business and just be a mom and a wife, and that's it. So I was gonna put reselling on the shelf completely. Well, that didn't happen because we still hadn't like reconciled yet, and then I got the COVID, and then I almost died, and then he ended up a friend of mine that I had actually started training to like help be his administrative assistant. He ended up hiring her like full time to help him, and so I essentially don't do any of his business anymore. And I've been trying to figure out like what I was going to do with myself since I wasn't going to resell anymore. But I think actually what my community needs is a place to sell their stuff. They like, you remember like trade assistants from like back in the day, like back in the 90s and early 2000s, like the eBay trade assistants. I kind of want to open like a consignment shop because people there's not a thrift store to donate anything here. There's a thrift store, but they do storage auction stuff. So they don't take donations at all. There's a pawn shop, but you know, pawn shops, they only take like electronics and tools and bicycles and guns and jewelry. And with the way that the economy is, with people really suffering right now, especially like service industry, hospitality, you know, Austin is still level 5. So it's really affected like bartenders and waitresses and things like that. And people have got kids to take care of. So with the economy the way that it is, I figured that people needed a place to sell the things that they didn't need. So I thought that I could put my reseller skills to use and open a consignment. I don't want it to be an actual place for them to like shop. My plans were to put a couple TVs with like running displays of available things. Like if they want to buy it, buy it. Like I'm not, you know, 40-year-old virgin that's like, no, you have to buy it on eBay. Like, no, if you want it, I'll totally get it from the back and you can buy it. But I thought I'd have like running displays of like what's available. And then, but I wanted an actual location downtown Lockhart. Sorry, my knee again. Where people could bring their things. And so essentially I could do my reselling. It would be a service to the community. Any items that needed to be donated, and people in general just are always looking for a place to drop their stuff off because there's nothing to really just even take things that you don't want. So I could totally take those two and, you know, put them for free in the give, you know, like the buy nothing group, or give them to the children's home or the CPS, or like the assisted living home, you know, things like that. Like people need help. And so it's kind of like it's not even a twofer, it's like an eightfer. Like I could help my community by giving them a place to like sell their stuff to make some money that they desperately need. Or even just to like get rid of the stuff they don't want. I could help the actual like charities or even just the citizens that like need stuff, because I do that with my own things in my garage. I was just counting up yesterday how much stuff I've given away in our local, ours is called Give, Take, Connect. But if you're like your area, it's going to be like the Buy Nothing groups. It's called like Buy Nothing. And so you basically like gift or receive things. And I've literally like, I counted it up yesterday and I've given away 150 things, like at least 150 things to people in my community that would have just like not, like it could have just gotten thrown away, but it was useful and they needed it. Sue's asking, what is level 5? Level 5 is bars are closed, clubs are closed, restaurants are at 50% capacity, and they must close. There's like a 10:30 curfew, I think. And I can't remember what else because I don't live in Austin. Like Lockhart is not level 5. Anyway, and then also like I want to be like, I want to know the people in this town. So like when you live in a small town, you run into the same people, you see the same people. I see their faces on the local Facebook group. I see those same people in the store. Like, I just want to be an integral part of this town. And I think I can do it. Like, so that's my goals for 2021 is to save up enough money to get the location that I want, and the location I want is downtown, and open it up. That's what I want to do. So I need to go through my garage because I do have items that I bought that you guys have never seen because I wasn't doing haul videos, because I didn't want to do haul videos if I wasn't doing sales videos, because I just think that that's like so fake. For me, I don't care if you do it, more power to you. I, for myself personally, think it's fake to me to be putting out a haul video about things you should buy and I'm not showing you like, and it's sold, you know, like telling people to buy something and then it's sitting in my garage unlisted for 2 years is not like, that's just not something I won't do. But so I'll have haul videos and sales videos and things. My eBay store has been on Seller is Away vacation since July. I haven't turned it back on. But I'm going to be going through the garage, organizing. I have got to organize everything. I'm going to streamline my business into a mostly parts business. Because I think that's where my opportunity lies in, with the physical limitations that I have now and energy limitations that I have now. I think that's just the smartest thing for me to do with my time, is to streamline my business where I only have to make the listings once, and then I can just keep finding those same machines over and over again, using those same listings, updating the quantities, move on with my life. It gives me the time to do things that I enjoy, which I've learned. And I know several years ago, you heard me talk about how I'm not good at crafting and I don't have a hobby and blah, blah, blah. Well, I found some. And as Brian's asking about embroidery, I bought it during my Make It Rain time frame. Bought an embroidery machine. I bought a sewing machine. I have a Cricut. I have lots of supplies, and I enjoy doing those things. And I learned that all the time that I was saying I wasn't good at something, it wasn't that I wasn't good at it. It was that I just didn't take the time to actually learn. And so I figure if I streamline everything, then I can spend time doing things that I enjoy, and I can still find like the super good treasures to sell those, because that's the fun part, right? So those are my plans. My 2021 plans. Last night I decided to do this video because I figured what a better time to do a video than 2121. It's a Monday. It's the first of the month. It's 2121. I was going to start the video at 1212, but YouTube wouldn't let me. But I think the video actually did start at 1212. It had made me schedule it for 1210, but I might have been a little late. Does anybody have any questions? Please ask them. I'm not doing crafting instructional videos, Brian. There's a lot on YouTube, and I do not want to be part of the crafting society. It is cutthroat. And I'm sorry, like my whole COVID story, and there's so much more to it. Like this could have literally been like a 5-hour video. It was so boring, but I guess just need to put the information out there so that way it was over and done, and then I can move on to not worrying about that. Nobody has any questions, so I'll probably be going. But I want you guys to look out for, we'll be doing stew videos again, like I said, and I will be putting out more content, hopefully not 2-hour-long rambling videos. And I cannot believe my dogs slept this entire time. Still sleeping. Because I was totally thinking that you guys were going to have to listen to dogs barking the entire time, which I know is annoying. I think I'm going to scroll up, and then I think I'm going to let y'all go back to your worlds. And I appreciate you hanging out with me all this time. And I'm going to put a timestamp in the description. Is like, this is when Deb starts crying uncontrollably. Like, thank you guys so much, though. Y'all blow me away. I am so fortunate to know all of you that just thank you for being part of my life. Like each and every one of you. And I'm sorry if you said hi to me in the chat and I didn't say anything. And Greg, thank you for the $10 super sticky. I see it there, and I'm sorry I didn't say thank you before you left, but thank you. I think that's it. Kelly Davis said that her father was in a coma after he had an accident, and that he had the same kind of like delusional experiences that I did, that like they weren't dreams, they were like real life. Okay, well, I think that's it. Nobody needs to know anything else. So y'all don't get to ask me any more COVID questions because you didn't take this opportunity to do so. But anyway, I'm just kidding. All right, well, I'll let y'all go. I am going to continue with my day. I am trying to be a much better housekeeper, and I need to mop the floor. And I need to work on the garage, like, because I did that closet over there that you can't see and don't know exists. I did that closet on Sunday, and now I need to go through some stuff in my garage and give some more stuff away or put it in the needs to be listed pile. So I hope everybody is having a very productive week. We gave January its trial run. Everything was doing good. I think January popped off like woo. And so hey, let's just take February 1st and rock on with February. And hopefully it ends well for us as well. But oh yeah, Joni said that her husband also had delusions after his motorcycle accident. I didn't even finish saying whenever I was talking about that with my husband, I didn't even call him after I woke up because it was so real to me that he had run off with this big booty girl and like just like left me, that I had no interest in calling him because I was like, he left. Like, what am I going to call him and tell him I'm awake for? Like, it was real to me. Like, he was not my first, second, or third call. But anyway, yeah. So you guys have an amazing day. I hope you guys can feel as loved as I feel by you every day now of my life. So thank you so much. And thanks for joining me and sticking it out. And I love you guys. And I'll see y'all again soon.